Hey guys, the last video I uploaded was flying the CONSCENDO Advanced. I was kind of testing out a new camera that I got, and the CONSCENDO was the plane that I flew. In that video, I had an accident. I had a crash. It was a little windy. It was kind of gusty. There were some really strange wind currents. I got low to the ground. I was kind of doing like not a knife edge, but almost like a show pass. Wings were about 45 degrees to the ground. Long story short, I caught a wingtip and kind of cartwheeled the plane, and I was just about full throttle, so which isn't blazing fast on this plane, but it's fast enough to cause damage. So the first thing I noticed when I went over to the plane, aside from the horizontal stab being broken off, and if you've assembled this plane, these little pieces join the elevator halves together and they key into each other. Those broke right off. Horizontal stabs were laying on the ground. I picked those up. Great, got that. The wing was still attached. I noticed that I'd cracked the fuselage right there. You see that? It all comes together pretty nicely. The spar was torn out. The battery had ejected itself. Here's what the bottom of the battery tray looks like. And they don't use much in the way of glue to hold it in. It might have been a good thing in this situation. And the glue that they use is always like, it almost reminds me of like a white silicone caulk that you might use in a bathroom or something. It's very pliable, holds well. I've noticed the receiver on this was also glued in with that same type of rubbery adhesive, which that's good. It's, you know, absorbs vibration. But the big problem is this. Get this tuned up over here. So if you have a CONSCENDO, you know that the wing halves come together. They utilize a wing spar, joiner, whatever you want to call it. And then this piece here goes over the center joint and kind of finishes the whole thing off, makes it look finished. See if we can get that in there while I'm filming and yakking. So this piece goes down over covers up the center joint, makes it look nice, and then your screws drop down through the holes into that, and this is where your screws end up in the fuselage. So this piece, when I went to take the wing off, one of the little pieces broke off. See right there, and there it is. So what each of these little nubs do in the end is they keep the screw from falling all the way through. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you see that's where the one broke off. Okay, that one broke off. So if I drop a screw through there, you know, it grabs the head, holds the whole wing center section, and that little nub keys into right under the screw there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I gotta stop using my phone to make video. So, alright, I'm gonna order the horizontal stab. Comes with the spar. It's $12.99 from Horizon. I'm gonna order this part. I get online, look it up. Can't find it. Alright, now I found it. It comes with the two wing halves, which they don't have decals on them. There's no servos. It's just the wing halves. Both wing halves, left and right panel. The wing tube, wing joiner, and this piece, and 4 screws that hold the wing to the fuselage. $41.99. It's in stock, and it's another, whatever it is, $3-4 for shipping. $41.99 to get this part. Not a problem for me. I've been modeling for, you know, a long time. I can overcome things like this. I can fix it, probably make it stronger than it was. It might not, you know, obviously it's not going to look as nice, and I'm not going to 3D print this whole thing, but Horizon really needs to look at how they package parts. I can buy just the wing tube, you know, the wing joiner tube, spar, whatever you want to call it. I can buy just that. I can buy the horizontal stab and the spar, and if I want this piece, then it's going to cost me $41. I don't think that's fair to the average guy that likes to fly, doesn't have a lot of time for modeling, or doesn't enjoy, fixing things like this. I don't enjoy it. I'm just capable of it. It saves me money. And I just think that Horizon really needs to think about how they package things. And there's almost like an we don't care attitude, because I had a problem with the first Concendo. The whole tail section here was warped bad. It wasn't, you didn't have to sight the plane, sight down the nose of the plane and look towards the tail to see it. I mean, you open the box, and you're like, what the heck? And it just looked like the two fuselage halves were glued together, and they inadvertently glued a big bow in it. So I called them. They said, send it back. It was the Ready to Fly, the original one that came with the radio and everything. Sent the whole thing back, didn't hear from them, called them up, yeah, we got it, we're looking at it. Long story short, they said, there's really nothing wrong with it, it'll fly fine, you can trim it out. I didn't like that answer. I didn't pay for a plane that was not right, but would fly okay. I paid for a brand new plane. And I ended up on the phone with a tech support manager or supervisor. I think I said, I want to talk to a supervisor. The guy gets on the phone, and he said, well, I've got it here. They brought it up to me, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I was like, well, it is a big deal. I work for a living, and I paid full price. You didn't give me a break on it because it's defective. You haven't offered me anything up to this point. And I want it replaced. He's like, all right. So he said, he goes, I just want you to understand one thing. These planes are mass produced, and they're not going to be perfect. I understand that they're mass produced. But when there is a problem, if you know that as the manufacturer, distributor, whatever the heck you are, coming out of the gate, and a customer calls up and something's not right, you're holding it in your hand and you can see that it's not right. I don't want to hear the answer, well, hey, that's they're mass produced, so it's just the way it is. Wrong answer. If that's the case, then I'll tell you what. Put it in your advertising right on your website. They're mass produced, they're not perfect, but they fly great. And don't treat me like I did something wrong when I called up and I want new in perfect condition, because I paid for new in perfect condition. And when I saw this, it just stirred up all that again. If you haven't noticed, there's no reason that somebody, a kid, a teenager, whatever, somebody on a fixed income has to shell out $41 to get that part. Yeah, they get an extra set of wings. Yeah, they get a spar. And that's something that you're going to hear when you call up and you ask, oh, well, you're going to have a spare wing. I don't need a spare wing. I need this part so I can fix my plane and fly this weekend. Horizon Hobby, E-Flite, fix this problem. Stop doing this to people. Stop taking shortcuts. Stop telling us everything's perfect. Stop telling us there's no such thing as brownouts. Stop telling us that we're wrong and we're expecting too much when we call up for customer support. I hope that you don't do the same thing with the takeover of Tower Hobbies and Hobbico and treat people like, what do you expect? They're mass produced. Well, your radios are mass produced too, right? So is that what you're saying? They're mass produced? So when I buy a mass produced DX8, DX9, 18, whatever it is, they're mass produced and I shouldn't expect perfection? Those are your words, not mine. So if you've made it this far into the video, the takeaway is that, yeah, it's a foam airplane. Yeah, I crashed it. But in order to get the parts, I shouldn't have to spend almost half of what the plane costs to begin with to get a bunch of, to get some parts. I mean, we're looking at $50, $55 to get a plane back in the air. I'm fine with that. But I don't think it's fair to a lot of people that don't have the modeling skills to repair a part like that. Their only option is to buy the wing or just use 3 screws to hold the wing on. And there's guys out there, I know, they say, oh, that's fine, it's just a glider. Not the point. So, all right, guys, think about that. The one other thing that I want to mention is that when you have a crash, before you sit down and you go to order parts, go over the whole plane, put your battery in it, take the propeller off, put your battery in it, make sure your motor's working, your ESC's working, all your servos are working, because What I've been seeing is people say, well, I ordered the parts, but when I got everything back together, you know, my motor's not right, or my, you know, there was a crack in the propeller, the spinner, or whatever. One of the servos is stripped. Just so that when you order the parts, you get everything you need, and you can open the box, sit down, spend some time, get the plane back together the right way, and you're not held up waiting for a part that you could have already ordered. All right, guys, I'm sorry for the rant. I know a lot of you probably gave it a thumbs down and probably pissed off some people with the Spektrum comment. But I just think that a company that size, they're not new. They're not just figuring this out. They took over, and I'm glad that somebody rescued Tower Hobbies, that somebody's, you know, carrying on the name and the brands and stuff. But this is not the way to make parts available, not the way to talk to people on the phone. I'm not the guy that you want to talk to on the phone like that. I treat people in my business, I tell my people, you treat every single customer like it's your mother, your brother, your father, your sister, and that's it. That's just how we do it. If you can't do it like that, you're working at the wrong place. So I expect to be treated that way. I treat people that way. I guess I just expect it in return. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching the video. There is a section of the plane right here that got a little alligator skin, a little wrinkle, and I'll do a video and show you how I get rid of that. I straighten it out pretty good. It's not perfect. You can still tell it's there, but you can see there's a little alligator skin there where it got a little crinkled up. But I'm going to do a video on that, and I will do a video on my solution for repairing this, because I'm damn sure not paying $45 for this piece of plastic to get this plane back in the air. I'm going to do a video on that too, and I'll show you how I handle things like that. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you at the field.